You are live. Welcome, everyone, to a Comic Movie Mark stream. The Stream of Steel, which kind of has a double meaning, maybe a triple meaning, depending if you're watching Brazzers or us. A Stream of Steel can mean a lot.
Yeah, this is another corn stream, I guess, as Mago Trod Chicken. I don't know how to pronounce that, but
how can you not know how to pronounce that? God damn.
Yeah, go ahead. Take a stab at it. But thank you to everyone who's joining us. For some reason, my counter is showing 0, even though there's clearly some people in the comments. So we again are the Poochie.
Yep. They know how it goes. Oh, there it goes. Jump to 11.
Jump to 11. Oh, okay.
I guess that's probably a good indication of the timer. So probably 45-second delay on stuff because it took about 45 seconds for it to get in, and then now they're starting to react. What's up, CMMM? Yeah, CMMM. And yeah, you guys are here. Yeah, see, now they're starting to react. So I think that actually indicates there's about a 45-second delay because we can see people talking, but yet it says 0. So then, boom, that's when the stream actually started. So yeah, there you guys go. If you ever wondered when we're doing these streams or anybody's doing these streams,
there's a delay. We figured it out with math because we do that.
Yeah, a timer and our inability to start a show on time,
something like that.
Yeah, I already.
Yeah.
I didn't know he could. Quite. I didn't know he could listen to me, and I was like, "Oh fuck, he's gone damn without a shirt."
And I said, "I can hear your audio, dumbass."
And I didn't know you could. And I was like, oh, shit. I couldn't hear you. I just saw you mouthing back and smiling. I'm like, "Fuck, he could hear me."
It wouldn't make a difference because that's just Matt on a normal day-to-day basis. But I did want to show off again, Mighty Pegasus arts, pretty sweet. Yes. I decided I have so many damn t-shirts from all of these Ink to the People like things, wow, I'm struggling. I gotta have more coffee or something. But all these fundraisers is the word I was looking for. So I have so many damn t-shirts now that I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go with a tank top on his, and I like it. Turned out pretty good. That's pretty sweet. So shout out to Mighty Pegasus.
I have the poster. It's in the other bedroom, still laid out. The Mighty Pegasus poster. I'm just waiting for a frame before I show it off. I've been wanting to get a frame, but obviously everything is closed due to circumstances.
Beyond our control.
Yes, yeah. So I can't get a frame for it right now. I want to have it framed, and I want to put it right there next to the Snyder poster. I want to move those things
down. Remove that piece of shit below it.
Yeah. Get rid of that Comic Movie Mark shit.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then anyway, I want to put it up there, so hopefully it'll make its way on the wall sooner or later. Yeah, but nice tank top. That is nice. It does look good.
Yeah,
like the design, not you.
Come on, I'm blushing.
I thought it was just because you're red for other reasons. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, Stream of Steel. Obviously, some Man of Steel 2 rumors hitting the streamosphere, the internet, the thing that we call, the Bud Light sickness. There we go. Oh, and the animated. Yeah, I've been debating. I've been going back and forth on whether or not I want to get that. Yeah, good cause and everything. But
I added it.
You did?
Yeah, to my collection. I decided, like, you know what? This is kind of cool. I like the fact that someone turned what was supposed to kind of be a poke at Snyder fans into a fundraiser for suicide prevention. That's probably more accurate. These are bazookas, baby. But I thought it was kind of cool. So, and it's a little bit more basic, and compared to some of the shirts that we have.
It gets to the point, yeah.
Yeah. So
compared to like this,
you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and add it. Yeah, exactly. Compared to some of the other ones that I have. So.
Oh, see, Fury of Firestorm's one of those people. Wasn't there already a Man of Steel sequel? I guess that's the great debate. Maybe we should actually do a video on this. Was Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice a Man of Steel sequel? We would probably, it would be a bombardment of bullshit in the comment section. I could see that already, because a lot of people say it's not a sequel, and a lot of people think it is a sequel. And in my opinion, it's not a sequel. It's a team up movie. It's a completely different movie in me. I mean, it uses those parts of Man of Steel, but to me, it becomes a little bit more than that. It's a pre-Justice League movie.
Right. Yep. It's a team up. I guess indirectly it is a sequel, just like, all the MCU movies are linked together and there's an actual timeline to them. But to me, we did not get a solid Man of Steel sequel, and that's what I would like to see.
Yeah, because it just becomes the question. Yeah, do you consider it a sequel? And I guess when you think about it and the overallness and everything, it's not a sequel to Man. Well, I guess it kind of is a sequel to Man of Steel in some sense, but just it's not that direct sequel that I think some people would expect.
Exactly. So, with a Superman villain, maybe a little bit more Lex Luthor tied into Superman a little bit more, something like that, and a little less of that badass. Bat's ass, not badass.
Yeah. So anyway, yes. So Heroic Hollywood is reporting, and this is directly from their sources, that, and I'm not saying that people don't have sources, but just at this point, it kind of
everyone has sources.
Yeah, everyone has a source. I have a source.
I have a source. Was that what you were waiting for? I don't know.
It's like I am Spartacus, just everybody stand up. I am a source. I am a source. Something like that. And but it was it's an odd thing, because the thing is, especially when it comes to Cavill and Superman, is that there's been so much information that is like you can feel, not that it feels manufactured necessarily, but the last time when there was reports that Henry Cavill was out, it seemed like to me that was pushed very hard by Garcia, that was their thing to put WB in hot water, because they're like, oh, and it made the internet be like, no, we really like Henry Cavill as Superman. So it was kind of a ploy to me, and I feel like a lot of things have been a ploy. Like even the idea of the rumor of Supergirl, I felt like was a ploy to be just to fuck with Cavill, because it sounds like to me there's a lot of bullshit going back and forth. It's just what we hear. Like, if you're a wrestling fan, this makes a lot more sense, because what wrestlers do, they fuck with the dirt sheets and shit like that. They do things to perpetuate an idea and shit like that people, is this really happening? And when it's really not, they just want to fuck with somebody or do something.
And for those of you who don't know, dirt sheets are people who write about kind of the inside of the wrestling business. And so, very similar to what a lot of these nice. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jay.
Appreciate it, sir.
Dude, your cat, I've noticed this cat icon more and more, and I don't know why, but from like my shitty eyesight and really far away on my phone, it always looks like a stormtrooper. There we go. Anyway,
I can see it. Hold on. I can see it. One thing back on the Henry Cavill thing. One thing I thought was really cool was when it was Henry Cavill's. I almost called him Superman, the Man of Steel. When it was Henry Cavill's birthday, I believe on May the 5th. Everyone.
May the 5th be with you.
Yes, exactly.
You
kind of ruined it, but it's Revenge of the 5th.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Oh. May the 4th be with you. Anyways, but I saw a ton of people with Superman pictures of Henry Cavill and Church from Pet Cemetery. Nice.
Yeah, I know what it is, but I don't know. I have terrible eyesight.
We've established this. As do I. I wear glasses now, as I'm sure some of you guys have seen on our Riding with the Marks videos. I take them to the movies so that I can see far away. But I thought it was kind of cool. A lot of people, I did see some people, using an image from The Witcher or Mission Impossible, things like that. But the majority, when I was seeing on social media, whether it was Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, people were using Superman to say happy birthday, Henry Cavill. Today's Henry Cavill's birthday, the real Superman. And the thing that came to mind was the amount of people that consider him Superman, and the amount of people that have bought into him as Superman. So you're just going to throw all of that away. He's done other movies, so you could have used anything else. The most recent thing he's been known for is The Witcher, so people could have used those. But no, the first thing that comes to mind when they want to wish Henry Cavill a happy birthday is Superman. So I just thought that was awesome, and kind of shows what WB is missing out on.
Yeah, there's obviously a demand for Cavill to be Superman. It's just for some reason WB is just playing this fucking game. And obviously, there might be obviously on Cavill's side, he's playing a game as well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to take this as a direct source that, this is actually like something that WB is plotting, but it could be. So in this case, we'll just play this game for a moment that it is coming from WB. So Supergirl has been put on hold. Superman 2 or a Man of Steel 2, a direct sequel, would be in the works. And according to their YouTube video and some of their stuff that they had here, it was basically that they felt they couldn't jump into a Supergirl story without finishing or at least somewhat explaining some of the Man of Steel story out before they jumped to a Supergirl. So that was kind of the reasoning, which does make sense for the most part. So that would obviously mean that they're going to somehow bring Man of Steel. They're going to do a Man of Steel movie and somehow bring in a Supergirl. It could the obvious thing to me is Brainiac and Kandor. Somehow bringing Brainiac and Kandor into this situation and him discovering Kryptonians and stuff like that. There is the pod from the scout ship.
Correct. Yeah,
that's
I was going to bring
comic. The prequel comic. There is that, but that I don't know if that had something to do with Snyder's 5-movie arc or could have had something to do with his arc, and they even want to touch that anymore. Who knows at this point? It might be easier just to bring in a Brainiac with a Kandor type situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was going to bring that up with the Supergirl as well. And but I don't know how much they want to tie her in, like you said, from what was already established. I can't handle it.
Just keep killing them.
Oh my God, please. Could you imagine? It'll be just like every Marvel character, just never dies, never stays dead.
Yeah, just keeps coming back. This also doesn't bring in oh crap, I clicked the wrong one. Where'd it go? There it was. Anyway, the black suit thing. So this is the other thing that kind of makes it interesting to me. And I get a lot of people, including Shane and I, really want a Man of Steel 2 or just another Superman movie in general. I mean, just something with Henry Cavill and what's her face, Amy Adams as Lois Lane, continuing that story, continuing those characters and stuff like that. I guess that's ultimately what we want to see. But if you think about it, if WB continues the Henry Cavill story, and Zack Snyder has been planning that this Superman in the Zack Snyder's Justice League will have a black suit, and the Snyder Cut goes on HBO Max, what do you do? Do you ignore the HBO Max series? Basically, it would be the episodic series of the Snyder Cut, and that's a separate universe, but with the same character? Or does Man of Steel represent it all with the black suit? If you do a Man of Steel suit too, maybe he will start with the black suit. Maybe they'll incorporate that somehow. It's just kind of funny to me. I don't know how you incorporate the end of Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League, with a black suit into a Man of Steel 2. I think that's kind of the ultimate give or take, because I don't know. It feels like if we get a Man of Steel 2, it makes a Zack Snyder Justice League harder. And if we get a Zack Snyder's Justice League, it kind of makes it feel like it makes a Man of Steel 2 harder, because they're having to incorporate one of the two, because it's the same character. It's the same characters. It's the same Lois Lane, same Perry White, same Clark Kent.
Yeah, I think it just lends itself to a little bit more that they're not going to have Zack Snyder's Justice League be canon to what they're trying to build. That's more and more. That's what it's kind of seeming like. If they do, that would be awesome. I mean, ideally, that's what I would want. But I don't see right now. Once it does get released, them trying to utilize that and incorporate it. They might just have it as a special, but not actually incorporate it as a part of canon and what they want to do for future plans. So they can almost just ignore everything that's in there and what Snyder was trying to do with it, and ultimately just continue forward with whatever plans they want, which is unfortunate, because I think there was going to be some cool stuff and maybe a cool way to spin it off. Like you said, maybe a Supergirl was supposed to show up, or maybe be incorporated a little bit differently. But unfortunately, I think that's not going to be canon, and they're just going to continue without. And so Man of Steel 2, once, if it does happen, which I would fucking love, but if it does happen, then they can just continue and start with a clean slate, and basically maybe use the stuff from Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and the unfortunate catastrophe of a film that we had after that with now. So
that would be the thing. So would so theatrically, does the theatrical cut of Justice League become canon? So does the shirt rip become Superman's canon for theatrical releases? That would be your question. He's wearing the traditional suit, shirt tear. So after he takes off into the sky, that's his story for the theatrical. And then maybe an Elseworld type thing, Flash. It's all fucking Flash. We'll just blame it all on Flash. And apparently he has a different story in the HBO Max episodic run with the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. He has the black suit. It ends differently for him, obviously, in the Justice League, and that's Zack Snyder's Justice League. So that's the only thing I could think of, is they're just going to have to treat it separate and hope people are capable enough to know the difference. And, because there is a thing where you have multiple Supermen or multiple Batmen that, as long as they're played by different people or different multiple Jokers, I think people are fine. But when you start having the same exact characters in two different branches of storylines, basically, because the Zack Snyder's Justice League is obviously completely different, then I think you start becoming that starts becoming a little complicated in my eyes.
Yeah.
So it is definitely going to be a give or take. And honestly, I think the easiest thing to do is just kind of branch off of Zack Snyder's Justice League into a Man of Steel 2.
Yeah, I think this would be ideal. If they can loosely connect it somehow. But I think right now, the way that it seems like, with the WB execs and everything, and, we can go on that tangent probably all night if we wanted to, in terms of AT&T versus WB and all that good stuff. But I feel like that they can maybe take some beats that are very similar between the two and just loosely acknowledge it, like Steppenwolf is a good example. Exactly. But I think they could, Steppenwolf is an example. They can just mention it very similar to Aquaman, where it's just they acknowledge we're in the same universe, but then continue with kind of their own story. And ultimately, I would love a build up to Darkseid. I mean, that's the ultimate goal. So it'd be cool if maybe whatever Man of Steel 2 would have something with that, or who knows. I feel like this is where things kind of get a little bit complicated, is they have screwed the pooch so bad with not releasing Snyder's version that now you are scrambling and, are they going to have a Supergirl movie and stay completely away from what Snyder was doing? And, that we've already talked about some of the stuff that they are establishing with a Black Adam and a Shazam 2 and an Aquaman 2 and another Wonder Woman movie, and not even talking about everything that happened. And now that it seems like, well, maybe we shouldn't go too far, but you're stuck in this, what branch do we go down, and what are fans going to prefer? Because for the most part, Justice League wasn't even well received. So it's not like you can say, yeah, let's go canon with that.
Yeah, maybe they, you show a little bit of a flashback of the Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League, and you explain why he has the black suit and Man of Steel 2 somehow. Because technically, if people only know of the theatrical Justice League, they would be like, well, why does he have a black suit now when he took off in the end of the movie wearing the traditional suit? So, I mean, it becomes a really complicated thing. And what is the right road? I mean, obviously branching off of Snyder's vision for HBO Max. But if they want to do a theatrical version of of Man of Steel 2, it does become interesting. How do you justify the same characters being completely different? You're going to have to explain it somehow, either Flash, some kind of Elseworld type thing, and something to give people the idea that there is multiple stories being told here with the same characters.
Something else that they could do is, if they decided to, and this would kind of, leave it up to whatever Snyder wanted to finish. Obviously, he's alluded to the fact that he wants to finish some photography for his film. Maybe they can do some editing, and in the movie, he transitions from a black suit to the classic Superman suit that we know, and then boom, there you go. Now you can kind of use whatever canon you want, mention Steppenwolf, and then leave it up to the fans from there. I think that's kind of the easy way.
So, not reading the culture nerd thing. Not quite sure what that exactly is, but I'm assuming that's a website or something, or somebody saying stuff. So that's, from a couple of things that we've heard, that actually would line up pretty well. That Cavill, there's a reason why Cavill didn't say release the Snyder Cut on November 17th. Like, he was the lone survivor for the most part on that one. There is a reason why, and there's a reason why Mara Robles a while back gave that list of the most loyal people in the cast anyway to Snyder, and there was a reason why Cavill was at the bottom. So and there's reasons why his manager Garcia she's pretty adamant on the Shazam verse and stuff like that, and she wants to incorporate her people in that series, and Snyder's Justice League would tie them to a different storyline that doesn't incorporate those characters, doesn't incorporate Shazam necessarily or Black Adam. So that's I can see that making a lot of sense, and why there would be such a conflict.
Boom. Dan of Steel, you are the man of Steel. Appreciate you.
Sir.
And Man of Tomorrow adaptation. The thing that I've always loved about Henry Cavill as Superman is he is a nerd just like the rest of us, and he consumes so many comics getting ready for his Superman role. And same thing with The Witcher. He played the games and read the books long before he got that role and wanted it. And I just think that you're missing out on someone who, what seems like, has been not necessarily a lifelong, but has really just dove into this character and just consumed himself with it. And it's going to be pretty sad if we don't get a follow-up.
So we'll just answer your question real quick. Heroic Hollywood reported from their source that they've been told that they're putting a hold on the Supergirl story for a Supergirl movie, and they're going back to a Superman story with Henry Cavill. So that's what it looks like for now, that they're looks like they're moving forward on a Man of Steel 2. So that's what it looks like right now, according to Heroic Hollywood's source on that. And we were just discussing. That's a fucking word. I swear it is. we were just discussing when Zack Snyder's Justice League gets released on HBO Max, what are the ramifications of that? Because according to Snyder, he is going to have a black suit. In Zack Snyder's Justice League, he will have the black suit. That's the direct quote. And what does that mean for a Man of Steel 2? Does he have the black suit in Man of Steel 2, or does he go by the theatrical release of Justice League where he has the shirt tear and takes off? That's the question. Where do you move from the story from there? So that's kind of what we've been discussing, and the complications anyway of that.
This is when, and I brought this up several freaking times in terms of recasting and some of the issues that I have that with Zack Snyder doing such a fantastic job at casting a wonderful Batman and Ben Affleck, and obviously such a comic book accurate Superman in Henry Cavill. Every other version of him seems to just fall short. And as soon as I saw the Superman from the CW, I watched the one episode with him on Supergirl, and then I watched him again in the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossovers. And man, I'm just not buying it. I will take Brandon Routh all day long over this guy. And I saw someone earlier. Oh, I found it. Brandon Routh Superman TV show. I would take that. I think that would be really cool if they can incorporate
Kingdom Come one.
Yeah, if you do that, Brandon Routh did a fantastic job getting himself in shape. I wish that Tyler Hoechlin or something is the other Superman. I wish he would take the role as serious. From what I've read, as a person,
well, he would have to grow like 4 inches, and he could take some HGH. I believe.
I was gonna say there's ways. A penis pump. He can grow 4 inches. Oh, height. We're talking about height. I don't know much about penis pumps, guys. Sorry. Moving on.
Wow, that just totally threw me off. I have no idea. I'm just picturing what's off to the side there. Yeah. Shane started leaning back. He's like, "Yeah,
there's a reason
I don't know anything about penis pumps.
Only this wide."
Okay, let's get rid of that. Okay, let's just. So it just becomes a very complicated thing. I'm just curious. So, okay, I guess that kind of just leads right into our next topic. The AyerCut situation. So, David Ayer, let's bear with me here for a second, guys. I'm going to try to share screen Here, share screen, application window. This one.
We're kind of horrible with technology, so this could be a while.
Sure.
Boom! I'm
Okay,
amazed.
so
Close the gay porn.
yep,
All right,
all of
yep,
it's
you're good.
closed. Okay, so David Ayer posted this concept art. We can all see it, right? I can't see it now because I've clicked off.
Yeah,
You know what I should do is actually let's do this so I can fucking see us still and see the comments. No, motherfucker. Why is it doing so tiny? There, whatever. Let's do that. There we go. Now I can. Wow, that is a lot. Anyway, so as we can see here, the concept art, and it obviously fits into very much what David Ayer has been talking about. His, at least in concept phase and script phase, his cut was going to be heavily involved in Justice League's future. What it was going to mean with the Mother Box, Enchantress, and Steppenwolf. This was important to his story. The question is that we're not sure if he ever filmed any of it. From what some of his replies, it does seem like it was filmed for the most part. But it's really hard with Ayer because he likes to fuck with people. He really does. He loves to mess with people. So it's very hard to tell a lot of the times whether or not he's messing with people or it's true. I just sometimes I just don't know. God dang it. One thing I do see.
That's fantastic.
So it just becomes a very difficult thing with Ayer because he's not giving us a straight answer for the most part. Or if we do feel like we're getting facts from him, we're not sure if he's messing with us or not. Or it never got past the concept phase and script phase. Did he film it? That's what I mean. We just can't freaking tell if he's filmed the damn thing or not.
The amazing thing to me is the fact that this was a concept and you know that it was supposed to be closer linked to what Snyder was doing. And the fact that they, starting with Suicide Squad, well, shit, even before that, it's starting with the theatrical release of BVS to have that poorly reviewed or whatever you want to say. And then on to Suicide Squad where they just butchered the hell out of that. There was a plan. There was a plan in there somewhere. And there was people working together. You have Ben Affleck in Suicide Squad. You have this concept art, whether it was filmed or not. There was a plan to have all of these movies linked together as they should have been. And here we are left with just wondering and left with hope that maybe something will get released eventually. But to go back to the question, I would absolutely love to see Joker, Jared Leto's version of the Joker. I feel that there is something promising there. I know a lot of people shit on it. I've watched Suicide Squad, not really recently, but somewhat recently. And I've watched, I'll check out some of the scenes and stuff on YouTube or whatever. But I feel like there's something very promising there. There's a different version of that character that to me is I'm so intrigued and I'm so sad that Jared Leto didn't get to show off what he was trying to do. And same thing with David Ayer. It's unfortunate.
So then another thing was brought up to him about Suicide Squad's Joker is still a popular search term. So it seems like it's similar to BVS. This is what we've always said about that BVS and Man of Steel and these other movies is that even though they might be for some reason controversial in some people's eyes or they don't like it, it somehow still gets brought up a lot and it's still within the populace that talk about it a lot. And that's always kind of what we said is the big difference about some of these early DC movies compared to some of the Marvel movies is that these things don't seem to go away. I don't know if it's just dedicated fans, just dedicated people that hate it in some sense. I don't know. Or it's just this interest in seeing Jared Leto's Joker again. But it's a popular search term. And so it kind of comes up to the fact how plausible in some sense is the AyerCut. So when you have the Snyder cut and its possibilities in this episodic run, and then you hear Ayer has talked about, and Jared Leto as well has talked about, there's a whole nother movie. There's a whole nother movie of just Joker scenes alone that it could be done. Could you turn an AyerCut into an episodic series? Could you bring it on to HBO Max? Because even someone like Stephen Colbert has stated the AyerCut is way more complete than even the Snyder cut. Because it was screened, it was tested, and then it was kind of turned down and then mishmashed by a trailer company. So it was much farther along than any of us could even imagine. So that's a thing. That's a thing that if this is what makes the Snyder Cut so important. It could transcend an idea of using that platform, that streaming platform, for director's cuts. They could have their own section. They could call it like just a director's cut section, and you could have these directors come back, add a couple scenes. You spend a couple some money on things to add a couple scenes. You're spending well under the budget that you've been addressed to use for your new and original content, and you add these scenes. Now, the only thing that becomes a complication to me, and this is also one of the biggest things that we've said with the Snyder Cut, is when you come to rights, when it comes to like was it SAG, Screen Actors Guild rights and stuff like that. The actors, do you have to form all new contracts with this stuff if you add new scenes and stuff like that? If you add, maybe another new character gets brought into the mix because you add a scene, does the Screen Actors Guild, do you have to have a new contract? That's the big problem with Zack Snyder's Justice League, is there's so many new characters. So all these actors that probably just got paid the minimum that never even showed up on screen, now they're going to be prominent in the movie. So where does that money go? What happens? So I'm curious what could happen with this. But the AyerCut is a possibility, but you just need that dedicated fan base to bring it up. And if the Joker, Jared Leto's Joker, is still a high search term, you could start tying it to an AyerCut. And if the Snyder Cut is successful in some sense, we truly could see the next step, the next step, I guess, the next brick fall. Yeah. Well, the next brick in the wall fall. Yeah. And it could start producing some very interesting concept on HBO Max. Because Shane and I have talked about this forever. Warner Brothers is full, and this goes for almost any studio, but Warner Brothers is full of scripts that have been paid for and have these great concepts. Superman Lives, What Happens. Another one we're going to be talking about here in a moment, Justice League Mortals.
I was going to get into that. Exactly. There's so much stuff that's out there that they could utilize it. And the things that become more and more intriguing as time goes on is the fact that I hope that AT&T is paying attention that the AT&T is paying attention to these stats as all the fans are, and they're looking at the algorithms, and they're looking at at all the Google analytics and things like that are showing like, there's actually an audience out here for it. And if they want their streaming service to be successful, here is a fantastic way to take the stuff that's already been worked on and throw it into your streaming service. And I know a ton of fans, whether they're Snyder fans or not, I know a lot of people that would be clamoring to see a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, you make them animated movies. You have those people voice them. I mean, again, the budget for those type of things are not going to be that high, and it's original content, original DC content, superhero content, which is in a huge demand right now. So that, it just seems like to me it's a pretty damn obvious thing. Oh, thank you again, Jay.
Oh man, and back with the Stormtrooper.
The AyerCut, the Snyder Cut. Cheers, guys. Thank you very much, man.
Thank you.
Oh, we clicked the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah, what's up? What's up, Jarbo, Matt? Yeah. Oh, wait. Okay, are you gonna click on it or not? There we go. Yeah. That's a great business concept, man. Why would you wanna fucking produce something that's trending well, right? That people want to see?
Obviously, Warner Brothers knows what they're doing. They have not, with this entire universe and everything that they've built, they have not faltered one time. So obviously, ignore everything that's trending, ignore analytics, ignore all that stuff.
Even in the heroic Hollywood thing, they were saying that, WB is listening to fans because fans want Henry Cavill as Superman. So they're finally listening to fans on this one, and they're going to bring him back. And that's how it's stated in the heroic Hollywood YouTube video where they announced this. But yeah. But when it comes to Snyder Cut, because it's trending, we're not gonna do that. Two Matts and Shane.
That is a disturbing porno I do not want to see. Two girls in a cup. Yeah, for those that you didn't get it.
I thought
you didn't get it. Oh, okay.
Well, no, I thought for a second our stream was fucked up and it was showing two of us.
No, they were talking about Matt Jarbo.
Oh, see, I am not paying attention at all. Hey, what's up? Welcome
Yeah,
to the stream, guys.
exactly.
So we're here to talk about the Man of Steel 2
Yeah, start over, cut.
Yeah, fuck it. All right, we're gonna call it good. Oh man, we actually, yeah, Matt Jarbo, we gotta talk to him
Oh
more about
man,
that stuff. Oh,
huh? I'll have to check out your store. That's pretty sweet. I did see this. I love our followers. They're right in our line.
yeah, I wish we could talk about wrestling more, but just apparently it's just if we're not British, we
Only
can't talk
five of
about
us
Reddit.
care. Yeah.
Every British every wrestling thing I see, except for the local guy that we've talked to, wrestling was a great guy. Every one of them seem to be British. They all seem to be anyway. But yeah, if anybody watches any wrestling YouTubers, Wrestling with Regret, the Brian Zane guy, he's actually in our city. We've seen him at multiple indie shows and stuff like that. Talked to him a couple times.
Yeah.
When Andy's cousin bled all over the place, we talked to him because he was backstage. So yeah, it was anyway, that's kind of a hard transition. Anyway, so
all right. Back in line.
Yeah, so the AyerCut, it all becomes, this thing that the endless potential HBO Max has, because Disney is so restrictive on their content. They're not using any of the Fox library like they should. They're obviously restricting how many movies they put out there. They're doing that thing like they did back in the 90s with VHS releases. It's back in the vault, or it's just coming out of the vault.
Right.
Get your shot at lying. They're doing that again.
Yeah.
With their streaming service, is that it's limited times when you can actually watch this stuff. So HBO Max, the fact that they were coming out with over 18,000 movies on their streaming service, they're willing to put out all their content, and then they have all these things right in their pocket, all these scripts that have been done or worked on to a certain extent, or even have castings and everything. They have all this endless potential that would be really cool. And it's kind of like it's that idea of when we got to see behind the curtain in wrestling. I'll use a goddamn wrestling reference again. When you start knowing the ins and outs, and you could say the jargon and stuff like that, like our name, for instance, Marks, meaning
smart fan.
Smart fan. That's the whole point of Comic Movie Marks. If you guys ever didn't figure that out yet.
If you guess, because we're obviously Matt and Shane.
Yeah, no marks.
Talked about that before. It's like super fan or smart fan is smart. So yeah, that's where the marks comes from.
So it becomes I don't know. It's there's this potential to kind of peel that curtain back a little bit, and I just don't know if Hollywood ever wants to do that. They do behind the scenes, obviously, on their DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff like that. But would they peel back the curtain enough to start do a little bit of a documentary on this stuff beforehand, and then not like a documentary, but have like a 20-minute video of like the process that this thing went through, the writers, how many script how many script writers came in and out with it, explain some small details, and then show it in animated form. And then you can have some like just with Superman Lives, what happened, or Superman Lives. You can have Nicolas Cage come back, voice it. I guess Kevin Spacey wouldn't be coming back, but you can have Christopher Walken again. You can utilize all the ones that they did have cast. I mean, you don't even have to do that completely, but at least get Nicolas Cage back, because that would just be great to hear his voice as Superman.
Oh man,
and it just seems like gold right there, and you could just have this so much stuff. So it just feels like it's endless potential there.
Are you referring to the Suicide Squad test screening?
Yeah, probably. I mean, report-wise, there was multiple screenings of Suicide Squad, and there was one cut done by a company, and then one by Air and WB, and they both tested, and they decided to mix them together in this one. That's why that beginning sequence is like a trailer, and shit like that. There's a reason why. So, Matt Jarbo, do you guys think there's going to be complications in regards to Snyder Cut on HBO Max due to J.J. Abrams? The thing is that I don't think. I really don't know. Everybody, there's just this kind of back and forth and stuff like that. I feel like after the shit with Star Wars, I think the last thing J.J. Abrams would want to do would try to fuck over another director in any way. Like after what he just happened to me, and I just don't feel like that he would be the one pushing back on anything. Like if it's and again, it's AT&T that wants the Snyder cut. It's Warner Max that wants the Snyder cut. I just don't. They're going to get their money on that. They see the potential, and I just don't see anybody exclaiming anything that's not a reasonable counter to it all. If it's like, I just don't want to work with the guy, or the guy, he's doing this the wrong way. It's not the Hollywood way. He's going against the grain. We just don't want. I don't think J.J. Abrams would necessarily participate in that type of stuff. And I don't know. It would be an interesting thing. Plus, I mean, I feel like I think the thing with Hollywood is that, and some of these directors and some of these people, because some people, I keep seeing constantly people ask, like, why aren't more people talking about what happened to Snyder and stuff like that? Obviously it's very well known within Hollywood and WB what's going on. And I think it just comes down to the fact that it's so status quo. What happened to Snyder sucks. But at the same time, it's kind of what always happens sometimes in some way. And that kind of leads into those, we're not going to really talk in depth about them, but in my opinion, that was kind of the thing with those recent James Mangold tweets.
Yep. I was just about to get into that we were discussing possibly something in terms of James Mangold and basically just him being beat up by Hollywood, in general. But go ahead, Matt. You were starting to describe.
Yeah, a lot of people took it in various different ways, but when I read those tweets from Mangold about the Snyder cut, it was more of he really doesn't like the business side of movies. He really hates these big blockbuster movies. And even in some of his director's commentaries, if you listen to Logan and stuff, he's talking about why he wanted it rated R, because he didn't want somebody coming up to him talking about toys and he needs to cut this down because of kids' attention spans and stuff like that. You could tell he has this. He really doesn't like the Hollywood process. He really doesn't like what the studios tell him to do.
Even think about back to when Christopher Nolan was bringing in Snyder to do Man of Steel. He talks about a lot of that stuff, that he wanted it to not be, a committee type film and actually be a filmmaker film essentially. And there's so much stuff that they just know the process of. It's for the most part, films, especially large ones with large budgets, are typically done by a committee, and it's not really an artistic vision anymore. And I think that every director, I would hope, can kind of relate to that, and I'm sure can relate to Snyder. But I think what I feel like is especially in any type of corporation, and I feel like Hollywood is probably like this, that you have to make sure that you're towing the right line and not stepping on anyone's toes, and
multiple voices.
And you're just being careful. So people can't voice their opinion necessarily on what happened to Snyder, because they're like, well, I don't really want to piss off the wrong person, or someone who could potentially hire me, or a studio that could potentially hire me. So they just continue with the status quo, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, it just seems like when you hear him talking about, he even talked about his movie Copland, I think it was, that got butchered by the studio in some sense. It just seems like that was the thing. Like what happened to Snyder was like, okay, yeah, well, that's what just happens in Hollywood sometimes. Yeah, it was a little bit more aggressive with Snyder than most, because it's very likely now from things going out that they used his daughter's passing as a scapegoat for the most part. But I think Mangold just looks at it like, why is everybody petitioning to see a $250 million big blockbuster superhero movie, which we've seen multiple times? Now, that's not a critique on necessarily Snyder. Wow, I'm doing fucking great today. Snyder's style. It's just that he's looking at it as a corporation movie. That there's no way that Snyder's style is going to come out. Like his true vision isn't going to be in the movie, because it's a corporate movie. It's a superhero movie. And I think that's how he looked at it for the most part. He doesn't know the ins and outs necessarily of what's happened with Snyder, because he doesn't even know Snyder for the most what he said. But I think that's just how he looked at it. It's like, why are we fighting for another big blockbuster superhero movie? That's how he looked at it. Not necessarily it's a Snyder movie at all, but just that it's another corporate big blockbuster superhero movie.
Yeah, and trying to provide a suggestion for something that's not so corporate and not so big box office, and actually has some artistic vision. I wasn't angry or anything with what Mangold said. Just to go into it a little bit, and I kind of get it. And right now, the Snyder is kind of a hot topic button that you can press and get reactions, whether it's a YouTuber, whether it's a director, whether it's a someone who decides to write on a website for whatever reason, and you want to get some clicks. That Snyder is popular to throw in there, just kind of very similar to the
It's not sad to beg for patrons.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah. So if you want to join our Patreon,
we do have a Patreon.
We do have a Patreon. Here, let me share screen that. Anyways, go ahead. Sorry, I just wanted to.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Lost my train of thought. So thanks. Something about. Anyways, moving on.
Stroking out. Yes, that's what I do. I stroke out.
What do you mean, like Shane?
Yeah, because you always go like. Man, I almost stopped breathing. Like I would start turning blue. Like,
right, yeah, exactly.
Anyway, sorry. I guess we should have Matt Jarbo on. Everybody keeps 2 marks and a Jarbo Jive. I guess yeah, we'll have to continue our discussion, Mr. Jarbo, if you're here and listening in Twitter still.
If you haven't left us already.
Yeah, you might have already.
That's after my 2 girls in a cup reference.
Yeah,
he's like, I'm out of here.
We have talked to Mr. Jarbo in Twitter DM, so we are aware of him for the most part. But yeah, it's definitely a corporate thing. So do you guys talk about Netflix wanting to purchase the Snyder Cut from Warner if WB and Netflix would? See, this is the thing. So I saw this going around about Netflix and the Snyder Cut, and I thought that was really old news for the most part, because I remember hearing about it because WB had to get the rights of Army of the Dead, the script. They got it because that script's old, from 2008 for the most part.
I'm sorry. Don't lose your train of thought like I did. It's just that's fantastic.
So that's another live stream. If you guys didn't see, we went on the Real Emotion podcast with Mr. Ben Everts. I believe that's how you say your last name. Everett. And Stuttering Stanley John Garza. Yeah, his internet was a tragedy, and then apparently he was very shocked that I had a significant other, a girlfriend. So that's
fantastic.
So make sure you guys check that out. The Real Emotion podcast. I think it was episode
7 D.
Yes.
2. I don't remember.
It was in the 70 range.
Yes.
So check that out. Find that one. And our faces are on it. I was really surprised they used our faces for the thumbnail. That was
that is not these are not the money.
Yeah, that was poor business decision there. On that.
Yeah, I'm sure it has 200 views, and you can only blame yourself.
But anyway, back to that Netflix thing. Was when they bought the rights for Army of the Dead from Warner Brothers. I remember hearing. I mean, maybe it was just a rumor or just somebody saying at the time, but I remember hearing at the time that they were actually trying to acquire the rights to Zack Snyder's Justice League for the most part. But there was just absolutely no way that Warner Brothers or AT&T was going to part with some of their biggest IPs to be shown on Netflix, no matter what Netflix paid. I don't know that maybe there is a dollar amount you could have put on it, but that is your biggest IPs with some of your biggest stars on Netflix. On a Netflix exclusive original,
right?
Yeah,
that was kind of my thing. Is it wouldn't have been something like a Justice League or Batman v Superman.
She's out blowing her check right now that she got on plants. So there, I can't get her right now. No, Shane stroked. He really stroked for real this time. Nice smile. At least he stroked on us good there. There he's blinking a lot now. He's coming back slowly.
Well, actually, that time I could hear you, but you didn't glitch out. I could tell it was me. Most of the time when it is me, I can't tell. Everything's perfectly fine. You're like, oh, you're glitching out. I'm like, what are you talking about? But damn it!
If you want to hear, look at our John Wick 3 review. She's in the car with me. There you go. She sounds like a 10-year-old. Anyway.
All right. So back on the Netflix thing. But yeah, it wouldn't have been like you know how typically WB
Don't kid.
and whoever have a face for radio. That's why our videos are the way that they are.
Yeah.
But this wouldn't have been an agreement of, hey, just, here's the stuff, and however it works behind the scenes, here's our stuff, and you can play it on your service. No, however it works, it wouldn't have been like that. This would have been an exclusive thing for Netflix or whoever decides to utilize it. And I feel like there's so much paperwork and probably nonsense that would go into that. And like, as Matt said, I don't know if WB would want to give up that just for shits and giggles.
So I've seen it. Shane's in the midst of watching it. We're going to do a review on it. All I can say is if you haven't seen it right now, it's $20 or to get the digital version. You might be able to find it streaming. If you look hard enough, you can probably find it for free somewhere. I would say get it. But buy it because it's definitely worth buying.
In this case, so I've had a busy day in the yard and nonsense, and I finally just hey, thanks, man. One step above guards, I'll take that.
Your internet.
Yes, I know. But I made it about 25 minutes into the movie before I had to eat dinner and then get on this lovely live stream with all you glorious people crapping on my internet. But I think well worth it. I bought it on Vudu, $20, and the sound, the score, I'm gonna have to look up who did the score. Fantastic. It's R-rated, and they show the R for as much as possible for an animated movie. I'm like I said, 20 to 25 minutes into it. Fantastic. I'm really enjoying it right now. So I know you can go to 123 Movies or whatever the hell, Pornhub.com, whatever you decide to watch your movies on. But in this case, I would say support it, buy it, love it. It's fantastic.
It basically encompasses a lot of the last couple DC animated movies. It's basically connecting like the Teen Titans movies, the Flashpoint movie, the Justice League War, obviously, the Death of Superman. Now, do you have to see those to get this? No, but to understand some of the characters, maybe that were like the Teen Titans one and stuff like that, the Damian Wayne character and stuff like that, you might for the most part.
Kinda. I don't remember much of a lot of those, so I feel like you can go in as you don't even really have to know much of the DC characters, really.
Honestly, what I would say you need to know is if you know the details of Zack Snyder's Justice League 2. That will make this movie fucking bonkers to watch. If you know those details, the proper details of that, what that was supposed to be, that movie will be fucking bone diggity for you, man. Because I just could not believe it. I watched like the first little bit, and I immediately texted Shane. I was like, "Holy fuck! They made it in an animated version." Basically, for the most part, that's what they did. And I could not believe it. Could not believe it. That
spoilers.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's not really a spoiler because maybe some people don't know that. But we're gonna do a review on it separately. It'll probably be coming out like Monday or Tuesday or something like that, depending on things. So,
or Wednesday or Thursday. Or,
the Mark schedule for the most part.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would say it's definitely worth it, especially if you know those details. So, and the only negative I will say is that it should have been a lot longer. That's my only negative for that most part. I think it's edited and doesn't really allow a lot of things to breathe. So it goes very fast paced.
Yeah, I would say in the first 20 minutes, I noticed that. And unfortunately, I don't know if there's a certain mandate or just an understanding when it comes to animated movies. I'd be curious to know what the longest animated movie is, because most of them are in the realm of 90 minutes, and this one is 91 minutes, whatever it is. It's an hour and a half.
So you don't have to. You don't have to see the other ones. You just kind of Justice League War is a good one. I mean, that's the obvious one. Justice League War and the Flashpoint. Those are the two I would say you would need to see to help with the story at all.
I think this is very loosely a cinematic universe. I know they're loosely tied together, but they're not like you can watch them individually and have no problems kind of keeping up with. They're pretty standalone stories. They're different voice actors for almost all of them. It's loose, very loose.
Yeah, and the way this is supposed to conclude this cinematic universe as well.
Yeah.
So, oh shit! Thank you again, Dan of Steel.
Boom! The Man of Steel.
All you
back
other
at it.
What about all you other slackers? Jay and Dan here has just been doing fucking awesome. And just kidding.
No shame. No shame. There ain't no shame in that. That's a throwback.
Yeah, that's an old throwback from the old podcast days. There ain't no shame in that. Yeah, dude. I would love if maybe they could bring her back in a Supergirl movie somehow. Find her. Maybe that's how Supergirl comes about. You know, she goes through the I guess technically that's not the what the hell is that dimension that Superman sends people to? I'm fucking blanking out right now.
The Phantom Zone?
Thank you. Maybe you can call what happened in the end of Man of Steel the Phantom Zone, and maybe she's locked in there. That's
kind of the rumor, yeah.
Yeah, and maybe somehow
Zod can come back.
Dude, could you imagine Fiora versus a super? It took me a second.
He's not dead.
Again, he come back again,
right? Snyder obviously talked about the people in Batman vs Superman did not die; they crawled away on screen. Nice, I like it.
Yeah, you guys. I know you have money. I'm just fucking around, guys. Could you? But
yeah, that would be fantastic.
Could you imagine Fiora versus a Supergirl like that?
I think it'd be awesome to see either that or Fiora versus a somewhat experienced Superman, because he kind of got his ass kicked.
That's true.
It'd be nice if they could kind of go toe to toe a little bit. I mean, you see a little bit of that in with Zod, the Zod fight, but yeah, that'd be cool. But Fiora versus Supergirl, that would be fantastic.
So one last thing that we wanted to talk about. Let's see if I can make this work again. Add to stream. Okay, and click. Okay, that works still. Is it really tiny? Is it really tiny when it shares the screen here? Or
I wouldn't think so.
Okay, I just don't know how it looks on your end. The marks are stimulating. Yes, we are. You see these voices.
And my 6-inch guns. Oh wait, I'm blocked by the mic.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Just get a little.
Yep, exactly. Bum, 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 ba-na-na-na.
So I wanted to talk about this because we were talking about doing a video maybe for this, but when you talk about the potential of things and also how WB kind of is cracking down on some things, if anybody doesn't know, Justice League Mortals is a failed 2008 2009ish Justice League movie that was damn near ready to film, but due to many factors at the time, obviously a strike, a writer's strike. We've talked about this in our other video, a writer's strike, tax credits in Australia weren't going to go favorably in their way. A lot of other factors with that, but George Miller was going to do Justice League Mortals. It was basically going to just springboard right into Justice League.
Well, this was a perfect opportunity to talk about one of our most popular videos is actually on Justice League Mortal. It's okay. Awful. Yeah, it's in kind of a podcast.
It was a podcast that we tried to make into a video, and we weren't really doing. Whoa, that was loud. Does that come through?
What's that?
Oh, okay. No,
I don't think I heard it. I'm having issues with my mic though, and my headphones. It's not good. Anyways, I can still hear you. But yeah, it was a podcast that we talked about. So it's in a very podcast format. It's not like some of our videos where we actually put some thought into it. We put some thought into this. We read the script and everything, but it was a podcast that we tried to make into a video. Surprisingly, yeah, it's one of our more popular ones.
But people are mad though. It's like, why don't your pictures match what you're saying? Because I didn't give a shit. I wasn't trying to do that. I was just trying to put it in a video format. That's all it was. You're lucky that there's pictures at all. I should just have to do a black screen, motherfucker. Anyway, so there is going to be a documentary on the Justice League Mortals movie and the production problems there. But the people doing the documentary. What are you laughing at? I'm spacing out.
I just randomly. I don't know what people are talking about. Is it?
All I see is it's really tiny.
Yeah, that's what I missed something in the comments. So I'm like, wait, what?
Okay, maybe we should go back to this. hold on. Let's go back. Let's figure out what's going on here. What's going? So what's really okay?
It must be something that one of us said. Yeah. See, this is just us on a normal day-to-day basis. We barely realize half the stuff.
Yeah. Did we? Maybe you heard us. I'm not sure if you did or not, but yeah. We well, I saw it. Shane is watching it. We're gonna do a review on it.
A little late, Prime 76, but we'll forgive you.
Yeah, we'll forgive you on that one for now. But maybe you heard it.
Donate
but
to
I had to scroll. I had to scroll up for that. But
I said as long as you donate to our Patreon, you'll be forgiven for the late question.
Oh man, we're gonna fucking
no shame. I know.
Shameless plug.
All of a sudden, our views just start tanking. Oops.
What? Donate to have the Marks play against each other in a WWE game. Shane would kick my ass. I do not play those games at all.
My 6-year-old kicks my ass and it pisses me off. And I'm like, oh yeah, Daddy let you win.
Oh, look at that. Just bought Apocalypse War.
Nice.
There we go.
Boom.
There we go.
We don't get any kickback from that.
Yeah. Damn it, WB, assholes. And it is tiny. Okay. Anyway, I guess.
All right. So back on track here.
Yeah. Okay. So back to share screen. There we go. Okay. Anyway.
Oh, you said, is it tiny? Ah. Is it really that you were talking about?
Oh.
Yes. All right. Ah, got it. Excuse my friend. He's a little slow. The town is back that way. Anyways.
Oh, I just wanted to talk about this because it shows even a movie that's 12 years old and that never got off the ground is still a sore spot. So can you imagine what the Snyder Cut, the AyerCut, and other projects are to people at WB? So basically it said, they were asked if WB is going to participate in the documentary at all. Are they going to help them with it? Similar to the Superman Lives What Happened. WB had to give some of the stuff up. They worked with John Schnepp in that case. But he says that easier is definitely not the right descriptive word. It is difficult see, this is what you guys don't see when we read stuff, is me struggling. Because I can't fucking read for some reason when I'm talking out loud. I don't know.
The school we went to, when we first became friends, because we're both retarded, they didn't even know why we struggle reading.
Yeah, it is difficult as ever to get information for the most part, and this is part of why it is taking so long. Because at one point, this thing was supposed to come out, and then it just faded away. It just I never heard anything about it again, and it was. Wow, what the hell happened? I just thought they gave up for the most part. Because for many people, there is such a sore point. For producers, it is a sore point because millions of dollars were spent on something that never came to fruition. For some people, it was something that would have made or broken their careers. Probably the actors and stuff, because there's a bunch of actors in that you would have never heard of, other than Common. I think Common is probably the most common name out of that bunch. But actually, DJ Catrona was one of the Shazam family kids. Yeah. So that little buff, midget guy, yeah, that would have been our Superman in this.
He's huge. He's definitely jacked, and I don't know how big he would have been for. He's huge. Yeah. But I don't know if I would have liked him for Superman. I don't know how big his muscles were in Justice League Mortal, but yeah, I don't know. He fits well in this universe.
Is Warner Brothers involved in what we're doing on an official standpoint? No. For the most part, it is all based around individual relationships that we've been building over the better part of half a decade.
This is what's always surprising to me. This is what's always surprising to me, just about Hollywood in general, that there are projects that they invest.
I can't weeds. All right, help my brother out.
Both, and some hooked on phonics.
Yeah,
but phonics. It's normal, just day to day. It's normal for a studio to throw millions of dollars on a project and not have it come to fruition. Could you imagine if businesses, and I don't know how they end up with all this extra just throwaway money, but if businesses were continued to create ideas and everything, and then all of a sudden they just lose. There we go.
Yep.
That'd be sweet. Or WWF No Mercy.
Nah, fuck No Mercy. I'm an attitude guy. I like that WWF attitude, the PlayStation one, where they look like shit.
That one's all right.
But, but the custom characters were so
they
awesome.
had generic.
The custom characters were unbelievable. You could make. I had so many finishers as like my most basic move,
right?
And shit. Like I was just fantastic, beating the shit out of everybody. It was awesome. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So it blows me away that there's all these projects that get thrown away and money is just down the shitter. And WB seems to be one of the worst. I'm sure there are other studios like Disney and whoever that probably have something very similar. But the fact that, as Matt mentioned, Superman Lives, Justice League Mortal, there were Flash movies and all sorts of stuff that
the original Batman versus Superman script that was teased in Legend, in I Am Legend, like that original idea.
Yeah. Wonder Woman script, another Superman.
No, not that one. That Joss Whedon Wonder Woman script.
Yeah, no. That's terrible. But another Superman. Henry Cavill was supposed to play Superman. At another point, and there's just so much stuff
that is out there. Flyby.
Yeah, for Flyby. J.J. Abrams. Yeah. So the fact that they would not want to capitalize, they should be the ones doing the fucking documentary. They should be the ones. It just blows me away that they are just like, meh, whatever. We have all this stuff out there. And some movies made it a lot further, like Superman Lives. The amount of money that went into that damn thing when you watch the documentary is amazing. Like it's crazy. And these directors get paid out, and it blows me away. So again, to go back to think that a studio or AT&T or whoever it would be wouldn't pay $40 million to finish a cut of something, they throw away so much money for crap that doesn't even make it to see the light of day and is just all over the internet. And I see it as super possible.
The easy, because it's a wrestling question, I'm going to answer it. So
I like it.
I would say the easy one would probably be 17 because of what it was, what that was with the TLC match and obviously Austin and Rock and how that fucking stadium just blew up for that whole thing was awesome. But I have a kind of a fondness of 13, which is kind of like the downward spiral, not the downward, but it was the low point for WWE at the time, before they got their shit together. And I don't know, that Austin Brett match, even the Sid Taker match. I just like that. I like WrestleMania 13 for some reason a lot. So, and then like 12 would be not too far behind, and then probably 9.
Yeah, the first Money in the Bank cash in for sure. Mine, I watched WrestleMania 11 endlessly as a kid, so I have a lot of that was one of the few that I remember being able to rent VHS from Blockbuster or whatever movie place, and so I would just rent it just for fun. I don't know why I didn't buy it. Did that a lot. But and then another one for me would be WrestleMania 10. And as Matt said, 17 was also fantastic. That's an easy one. But 10, you have the Shawn Michaels Razor Ramon ladder match. You have Brett versus Owen, which is fantastic.
Luger versus Yokozuna.
Yeah, there's just some good matches, and even kind of the build up before WrestleMania 10 with the Royal Rumble was pretty cool. That is just the new generation era for me is awesome, and I have a lot of fond memories of it.
And WrestleMania 30, I'll go a little bit more modern. That was, the streak being broken, and obviously what Daniel Bryan did, even though I was just kind of getting used to him a little bit, was pretty good. So Justice League script, Mr. Everett's, the Justice League script with Maxwell Lord as a villain was just terrible. So this is the thing, is that Shane and I were talking about this when we did the breakdown of the script, was like a lot of people loved this script, and a lot of people talk about it like, man, this is the Justice League movie that got away from us. And Shane and I have always been kind of like, not really.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. There's some great elements, and there's a lot of characters that we all want to see on the screen. Martian Manhunter, Jon Stewart, Green Lantern. But this, like, the way that the Tower of Babel storyline was implemented in it, I think it was the Green Lantern. The Green Lantern and the Martian Manhunter one that kind of got to us most. It was like, was it a B? that like
Yeah.
stings Martian Manhunter.
There's something I don't remember.
It's
There was a lot of like just really interesting
and it was
ways
like,
that they decided to go with.
and I'm not positive, guys. So if you guys can obviously talk shit if it's not true, but I think like the whatever affected Green Lantern was like through his pencil eraser because he was like chew on it or something like that, I can't remember if that was it, but it was really lame. Like those two things were really, really bad. And then the Maxwell Lord thing, I thought was kind of interesting that he was working and it had the oh my god, I'm like forgetting this. The robots starts with an O. Chat's going to help me out here, but I'm blanking right now. The computer system that Batman builds and it works, and Maxwell Lord is using it. It starts with a goddamn O.
It's Oracle.
No.
Okay, not Oracle.
No. It's just God. Come on, chat, man. This damn fucking 45-second delay is killing me.
All right. Anyone?
God,
Anyone?
Boo this man. I don't know.
OMAC.
OMAC. It's OMAC.
Thank you, Everett.
It's Mac. Yes. Yeah, OMAC. Thank you. Yeah. God damn. I don't even know if that was timed for that or not, but it was great.
I wasn't much home, but man.
Yeah, so I like that concept of OMAC and Maxwell Lord. Orgasmatron. That's a fucking South Park creators reference right there for you. Mormons and a Orgasmatron. But I like that concept, but just how some of that Tower of Babel storyline was implemented, I didn't really like how it was implemented. There was just some things that were just so ridiculous.
There's
and also they weren't using the cities. Remember, because it was like wasn't Martian Manhunter like in Colorado or some shit, or Flash was right. Like they weren't using Coast City, they weren't using West City, they weren't using any of that.
They were trying to use actual cities, from what I remember.
Yeah.
They were in real cities, not Metropolis is real, but there are certain things that we read, like the Wonder Woman script from Joss Whedon, where you kind of are like, oh, I get it. And you hope that, maybe people will come in and the script will change, as that's really the only thing that we can say with Justice League Mortal is eventually maybe it would have changed a little bit and gotten a little bit better. But
honestly, the Superman Lives. I would have. I read the Kevin Smith script. I didn't see what they did beyond the Kevin Smith script, but the Kevin Smith script is great. I thought it was great. And it's, in today's age, it would be bastardized because they kill Superman and bring him back in the same movie. And that's just illegal now. You have to have 10 movies in order to kill someone.
Or someone dies.
And then, then you can't just bring them back right away. You have to wait till the next movie to bring them back. And so, or you have to have some stupid cockamamie reason why they came back magically. So that was, anyway. So I would love to see, because I thought that had a great concept. I thought it was very well done. And the characters in it, Brainiac, Lex Luthor, and then the Lexiac concept, which I think made it to the final script for the most part, would have been fucking great.
If you guys haven't watched that documentary, definitely check it out.
John Schnapp, Superman Lives.
He did a fantastic job. We actually donated to that, and I think we're in the credits or something.
Yeah, our names are in the credits.
Yeah, so which is pretty cool.
So, it's just, again, more potential that, the WB has. They have this script sitting on the sideline, and obviously they're not going to work with it because there's sore spots for the Justice League Mortals. Sore spots. I mean, God, this is 12 years down the road, and there's sore spots with people and producers. Can you imagine the Snyder Cut? How sore that one is?
Right.
That's a lot of people are talking about doing documentaries and stuff, and of course Sean O'Connell is talking about doing his Snyder Cut book, which I have a feeling now, after talking to him and seeing some of the things, that book is going to mainly revolve around the movement. Like, he may have got some things from some people, some information of why these events happen, so forth, but to get the actual dirt, or I guess, on the situation and get actual conversations with people about things, I don't think people are going to talk yet. It's just too soon. And I think his book is going to, like he talked about, is going to revolve a lot around the movement and the people involved in the movement for the most part. And I think that's where his book is going to ultimately end up going. So, So guys, I think we're hour 14. How the hell does that happen? And we kept a pretty steady pace of people in here. Thanks again to all the people that donated, and the people
you
that
guys
didn't.
Are awesome.
The people that didn't donate. Shame on you. Shame. Anyway,
I did want to call out. So I thought it's awesome how many wrestling fans we had in our comments. We don't actually get a whole lot of traction on any of our wrestling stuff, so it's one of the reasons we kind of went away from it.
Video games, we actually did if you guys go back there, I think they're still there. They wouldn't have gone anywhere, but our old Let's Plays, and we did a local wrestler called Sir Samurai.
Oh, it's fantastic. It is good, entertaining stuff, but none of it got traction. Some of our reviews that we did of current events never got traction. Maybe reminiscing on something old that would be really cool. But it's cool. A lot of people got some of our references. I saw someone earlier, if I can find it, probably not, but they understood our. Oh, here it is. Oh no, not that one. I thought I found. Dang it! I thought I just saw it. Anyways, they understood the Marks reference even before we were talking about it, so it's pretty cool. A lot of people were following along with us, in our wrestling stuff, but it doesn't do a whole lot.
Slamming with the Marks, just do a wrestling podcast, slamming with the Marks. I mean, maybe, but I will say though, the product right now is tough, but so it'd be like a classic. Like looking back at older stuff, because right now the product is just it's just
all of, if you're talking about our Let's Plays, they're all
on here. I don't know. We were having like a copyright issue for like a moment on some of that stuff, that like, because it like plays like the intro for NXT and other stuff, and so like they were copyright blocking some of them. So I don't know how many of them are on there. But
I think there's actually one where we're like talk over it, and we're like trying to be as obnoxious as possible so it doesn't get get pulled down.
Yeah, and they're all on there. You just have to go way back. It's like at the beginning of this thing. Like when did we actually try a little bit on this? Probably like because we even used to do football reviews, people.
Those were
remember
fun.
that Laces Out? We used to do a little segment. Laces Out. We'd break down all the games and stuff. We were throwing everything against the fucking wall.
Oh yeah.
Everything for fucking throwing the shit against the wall. Oh shit. Mr. Evers, thank you. You should really donate that to Garza though in his internet, man, because he fucking needs it.
Apparently it's my internet. Maybe I should just kick the kids off every week.
I tried to watch your guys' last podcast, man, and he couldn't even make it through. He got like one sentence in. He was even worse than when he was with us on that one. So help him out on his internet. Pay his bills, man. Thank you, sir, though, so much. And we'll definitely have to join
everyone again. Who joined this. This was a lot of fun. You guys were awesome. I think we got up to like 60 people, which I'm just shocked that you guys find us remotely entertaining, and so much so that you're going to donate your hard-earned money to our Patreon that we do have. So we don't give you a whole lot. We give you some bloopers and stuff like that. We've sent out some mugs and we have some other stuff in the works, but it helps us out a lot, and you guys are awesome. She doesn't need any more. But I will give a couple suggestions real quick for things to watch if you're still being locked up and they won't let you out for this current stream. A little Akon plug. For the most part, Akon.
But definitely Justice League, Apocalypse, War, whatever the hell it is, like 3 different titles all mixed into one there. I definitely suggest that, especially again if you know the details of Zack Snyder's Justice League 2. It makes it a very provocative film. A lot of documentaries, of course. Raw is Mark. That is a
I like that one.
That is very good. Damn, we gotta sign you up for a internship. We don't pay you, but we gotta get you to come up with names.
We don't even get paid. I've actually been watching get decent amount of documentaries as well. The one on Michael Jordan and the Bulls, it's escaping me right now, but it's fantastic.
Yeah. Oh wait, it's a chain.
Oh, sad puppy dog. Oh, look at our views just dropping. But it's gosh dang it.
Fuck
what
you,
is
Jose? All right. No, we have our lights on, and we're going pretty good in here. All right, I think our quality is much better than Eric. All right, fuck you for that.
Gosh, dang it! Why I cannot think of The Last Dance. The Last Dance I've been watching. Nice. Shadow
Princess
Vessel.
Bride. What else kind of weird shit are you watching? Fucking.
The Last Dance is on the Bulls in the 90s.
Oh.
And if you were raised in the 90s like us, it is fantastic. There's the hip hop from the 90s, the way they dress, the way that they talk, the way that the like news, like everything it's 90s. It's fantastic. It's awesome. And then Dark Side of the Ring, I've mentioned that before. If you're a wrestling fan, definitely check out Dark Side of the Ring,
especially the Chris Benoit one. Yeah, the Chris Benoit one is a huge one. A couple ones for me, again, documentaries. Obviously, I think a lot of people have seen this, but Tiger King is excellent. I've been trying to use more Tiger Kings in our videos lately and stuff like that. Also, another one called McMillions.
That's fantastic.
You did see it?
Yep, on Hulu.
Oh, dude, that one's crazy. Yeah. It's the white collar version of Tiger King. It's just fucking insane.
It's nuts.
Another documentary that I think is available on streaming in some sense. You have to look this one up, but I got the Blu-ray because I helped donate to their thing. But it's called The Last Action Heroes. It's not the Schwarzenegger movie, but it's called The Last Action Heroes. It's about action movies through the 70s and 80s and 90s and just how they progressed and stuff like that. And it's a very in-depth one, and it's got some great stories from some of the writers and stuff. Originally, Dredd, the Stallone version, was going to be PG-13, and they wrote the script that way, and they got a deal with Burger King and everything to do toys and stuff like that. And then the director was like, yeah, okay, we can implement some of this stuff. And apparently he just went full into it. And he's like, yeah, this is totally PG-13. It was like people getting murdered and stuff like that. So when they finally did a test screening and it was like totally R, Burger King ended up suing them because the toy deals were going to go out of out the door and stuff like that. It became a big thing with that Dredd movie with Stallone. So it's actually kind of funny. And then, yes, my last recommendation, watch the Galaxy. Wait, what? Oh, no. Yeah, watch Shadow Vessel's Galaxy Quest tomorrow. Do that as well. But I was actually talking about, for some reason, I thought he was plugging the documentary of Never Surrender, the documentary about Galaxy Quest on Prime right now. It's great, and it's just man, that movie is so goddamn good. If you have not seen Galaxy Quest, watch Galaxy Quest, and it's fandoms to a T, and it's just how we are sometimes as a fandom. So that's my recommendations for the most part.
Sweet. Ooh, Last Action Hero is pretty awesome.
Yes, no, Last Action Hero is amazing. Totally underrated. Not enough people have watched that movie for the most part. So I guess we'll wrap that up, guys. If there's any donations you want to give, I'll give you about a minute to do that. give a couple.
Thank you guys again.
Or what do they call these super chats? Yeah, we need to have the what did Andy Signor and them have? Fucking all that, and that Jody's Corner guy. Yeah, like a bunch of
my gosh, we're not
and shit.
Yeah, we're not tech savvy enough for that.
Yeah, RMP Alan Rickman, man. Seriously, ho. Miss him so much. I never realized until he passed away how many movies I love that he's in.
Yeah, right.
you just don't appreciate some of that stuff sometimes. So we'll wrap it up there, guys. Great stream. Thank you, everybody that thank you to everybody that joined us today. This was a very fun stream. And be on the lookout for our Justice League War Apocalypse, whatever the hell else is called. Apocalypse War.
Justice League Dark Apocalypse War review.
And stuff. So again, guys, thank you so much. In case I don't see you.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.